Hello, my name's Elliot. I'm here in Shanghai next to the sea, and today I'm reviewing this. This is the ORA R1, and this is fully charged. We were able to rent the ORA R1 from a shared car rental platform in Shanghai, hence some of the general grubbiness, wear and tear. The model we have rented is the ORA R1 Long Range Exec. So what is ORA? Well, it's open, reliable and alternative, apparently. And this is the newest electric line from Great Wall Motors. You probably know Great Wall Motors. They've imported a number of trucks into the UK, which I don't think were particularly good. But this is their first all-electric car. Now, the specs are not amazing, but the most important thing is the price. Now, we'll come on to the price a bit later, but this has a 33 kilowatt hour battery and is good for a range of about 301 NEDC kilometers. So let's have a look around the car, see what other features it's got. Front end of this car is quite good looking actually. Interestingly, this isn't actually that much bigger than a classic Mini. It's about 20 centimeters bigger that way, 20 centimeters bigger that way, and a little bit taller. And they've gone with the concept of a very long wheelbase, just like the Mini, small boot. Everything's very compact with this car, but it's very good fun to drive. Driving around the city, it's like a little go-kart, you know, a little electric go-kart. The range is fine. You know, I don't need hundreds and hundreds of miles. You know, if I'm popping to the shops or picking up my baby, this car's perfect for that. Anyway, charging. You've got your chargers in here, your fast charger and your regular charger. Did a fast charge yesterday and it filled up about half the tank in about 30 minutes. So it's very, very rapid. And because it's not got a very big battery, it doesn't take very long. In here is a tiny 47 horsepower electric motor powering the front wheels. 0 to 60 time is I don't know and I don't care, because it doesn't matter in a car like this. It's not especially fast, but I'm not racing it and I don't need ridiculous speeds like Teslas. You know, at the end of the day, this is a cheap car. So here in Shanghai, number plates for petrol cars cost £10,000. A plate for an electric car, completely free. Now, this car, after subsidies, in Shanghai, will cost you around 70,000 RMB, which is incredible value for money. 70,000 RMB is around £9,000. And this is a car aimed at urban markets like Shanghai and also overseas markets such as India and South America. So sitting in the back seat of the R1, I actually have quite a lot of space. This is very deep. I've got a lot of headspace and the width is quite comfortable as well. Now, I don't have any frills in here. I have a speaker, I have a handle, and I have a window which opens like that. It's as basic as it gets, but it would actually be quite comfortable for a reasonably long journey. I do have some USB chargers down here, which is useful, and a little cup holder. But you know, that's it. I do have space for a baby seat. There's a baby seat here next to me. But overall, quite a comfortable place to be. If we come to the rear of the car, it's got these lovely wings, not standard. The owners put these on. Anyway, you've got your boot space in here. Now, it's not particularly big, but it's quite deep. You know, I'm not gonna get much stuff in here. You get a few shopping bags, but you know, that's fine. That's all you need it for, really. Now, the interior of the ORA R1 is basic. This is all plastic. There's no eco materials in here, I'm afraid. I have a little touchscreen up here, which is 9 inches. I have 2 little screens in here, which I can't see anything because it's too bright and they're angled in the wrong position. Anyway, it only tells me my range and my speed. All the rest of the controls are very simple. I have a little knob for reverse neutral drive. Down here, I've got an old school handbrake. I don't have any electric handbrake in here, but you know, this is a very cheap car built to a price. The focus has been on the battery, not on the interior. So anyway, enough of my waffling. let's take it for a spin and see what it's like to drive. Now, I would say when I first got into this car yesterday, it was probably the most fun I've ever had in an EV ever. It's just so cute looking and compact and small, and you know, it's really fun to drive. You know, it's very, very enjoyable. So the car actually has two modes. It's got an eco mode and a normal mode. Eco mode, I found out to my dismay, is limited to 70 kilometers an hour on the motorway, which I was getting overtaken by a lot of trucks. I was thinking, why is this so slow? Anyway, it's in normal mode now. Yeah, so nothing in this car is fancy. Dials are very basic. I have air conditioning. I don't think I even have sat nav on the screen here. It's just a basic air conditioning, home, play your music, and the radio. But it does have a reversing camera, which is great. Not that you really need it, because the turning circle of this is fantastic. It turns on a penny, just like that, and is very easy to maneuver around. I said earlier that the visibility is good, and yes, it is very good. I've got a lot of space out here to look out of. You know, I've got plenty of room for my head. There's a lot of space in here, even for such a compact little car. So I do have to say one thing about this car. Not only is it the cheapest or most affordable electric car I think there is, it's also one of the lightest. This car weighs under 1,000 kilograms. This is at 990 kilograms. With me inside, tips it over the scale, but I think that might be one of the lightest electric cars out there. So not only do we have the cheapest, but we have the lightest. And as EV manufacturers, isn't this the kind of car that we should be aiming for? Something which is accessible to everyone, which doesn't weigh 2 tons, which doesn't do 0 to 60 in 3 seconds, which isn't important really, but is very accessible and really easy to drive. You know, I've driven this through the city, I've driven this on the motorway at 100, and it's fine, and I still have a lot of range left. It's super fast to charge up. Really, what more could you ask for? I think it would be very easy to pull this car apart and say, oh, it's a copy of the Honda E, blah, 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 blah. Yes, it does look very similar, and I think they have taken a lot of inspiration from that car. But the important thing is that they've created the car, not what it looks like. What it looks like, that can change next year, in a couple of years, when they update the model. But what they've done is create a car which is accessible to everyone. There is definitely something to be said for the simplicity as well, because I think all of us have been very spoilt by all of the big screens and all the gadgets and all the heat seating and everything else that you get in every electric car now. I was in the Xpeng P7 last weekend, and obviously it's fantastic. It parks itself, it has 20 radars, 18 speakers, but there's a lot to be said for a car which is really, really simple like this, which just lets you get on and drive. You don't have to worry about anything. You drive the car, you charge it up, and that's it. And I don't have to worry about sensors or beeping things or anything like that. I can just drive. And what a drive it is. This really is nimble, and I can see, you know, I can see the front of the car, I can see the sides of the car. It's super, super easy to drive. And here we are, here's the turning circle. And that's easy. Now, reversing, I do have my reversing camera. That's probably the only little technology gadget I have, which is the camera. Drive, steering's very light, no issues there. I can just drive past and go. There, put my foot down. Well, it's driving, not especially fast, but it doesn't matter, does it? So I did mention earlier these dials, and I really am struggling to see what they're saying. I know I can see my speed in here in kilometers an hour, and I can see how many revolutions I've done, if the seatbelt's done up. That's it, that's all I can see in that. The other side I can see my lights, which I've left on, how much range I have left, and it's got a picture of a car with a petrol pump, which is a little bit odd. And then next to the battery, it's a big lead acid battery symbol telling me how many volts I've done, and that's it, and just ready. It's really simple, but I don't need much more than that. It could be a little bit brighter. I think, to be honest, I've been spoilt by my mega bright screen in my Xiaopeng, so that is great. So I think we do have to commend Great Wall for what they've done. They've bought a simple city car for people who can't afford a Tesla, for example, to the masses. And these are people who don't need the fripperies of a Tesla, really. You know, no one needs any of that stuff. But what they've done here is create a car that will run around in those very congested, maybe Asian cities, and quickly charge. And although it does look a bit familiar, I think they've done a fantastic job. So one thing I do see a lot of comments about is build quality. Now, this car's done 10,000 kilometers and it doesn't have any rattles, shakes or anything like that. I do see a lot of people commenting, oh, it's all going to blow up or explode or whatever in a fire, because there's been lots of battery fires in China, but they really haven't. And you know, most of the battery suppliers in China are provided by one company, CATL, who have signed a contract with Tesla to provide their batteries. So the tech is there. You know, although the looks might not be there at the moment, you know, they're still copying. China has actually caught up exceptionally fast with the West. And within a couple of years, if they were selling this in the UK, I think this would be a very competitive car and something that a lot of people will want to drive. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed that. Over the next coming months, I'll be reviewing lots of these Chinese electric cars, looking at some big Chinese renewable energy installations, and maybe even looking at some electric ships. So if you haven't already, please subscribe, look at our Patreon page, YouTube memberships, and all of that, which is all around this video. Thank you for watching. See you next time.